Hello everyone, it's Lynette with Charm Grammy Crochet. This is Charm Chatter number 271, and I just really quick wanted to go over the Crochet Calendar 2022 project for this month. We are doing this, let me see if I get it to show up in the camera. We are doing this mosaic piece right here, and this is mine. And I've been hearing from a lot of people in the comments on my videos, on my Facebook group page, that you're having trouble either knowing what to do with the stitch or that it's hard to crochet. So I've had Nancy from She's Got Yarn said she had to rip hers out 3 times. And like, I get it. I've ripped mine out 3 times too. And this is what it's looking like. I think I'm on row 30. I think I just am finishing row 31. So let's talk about this. So it's mosaic. This is my first time to do mosaic, so I am by no means an expert here. But I am working with Premier Home Cotton. It's a very sturdy yarn. And that being said, the project is very sturdy. So when you do this, you crochet the chain, and then you join it, and then you crochet a row of single crochet. And to make the stitch, and I think they're calling this stitch, well, let me just check so I tell you for sure the right answer. They're calling it the split single crochet stitch. Excuse me. I've also heard this stitch is called the wainscot stitch or the knit stitch. I believe that's other names for the same stitch. Now, let's talk about the stitch. I'm going to show you on the back so you're not distracted by all the other colors. Normally, when you're crocheting and your hook goes under this V right here. I got the sore on my finger over there. So you're crocheting along and you put your hook in here, you draw up a loop, and you make your single crochet. In this stitch, you're putting your hook in here, in between like this V. We're not going the top V, see the V here? We're going in this V on the side. So let me just bring it up a little closer. Oops, that's further. Okay, this is closer. All right, so normally when you're crocheting, your hook goes under here. So let's do a normal stitch. This is on the back side, obviously. Oh, let me get this. There we go. Okay. So normally, and I'm carrying my yarn, but I'm just going to put it off to the side. So let's see if we can see. Normally, you're going to go and you're going to put your stitch in here. And to do a single crochet, you're going to yarn over, pull up a loop. Very simple, very easy. Right? But that's not the right stitch. So in this, we're putting our hook here. Right there. Oh, wait, you can't see it. Sorry. So before, I'm probably out of frame. We're putting our hook here. Now, we're putting our hook here in the side of the work, and you're going to yarn over, pull up your loop, and make your single crochet. Oh, this yarn splits so terribly. Now, I have found that in doing this,
Lacey, quit it.
First of all, I'm going so I'm going to go, my next stitch is going to go right here. So I'm crocheting over the other color, and you just crochet like normal. Now, I'm having a hard time keeping in frame. This is, I mark my, when I'm crocheting in the round, I mark my last stitch, not my first stitch. So now this is going to be my first. We're going to go into the first stitch, and on my next round I need to use the light color to start with. I think, let me look. Yeah, Yep. So I'm going to take my stitch marker out. And this is, so let's pull this back out. Now that we know where we're going to make the stitch, you're going to start just like normal, because now I'm going to change color. And so I'm going to go in this side stitch right here, and I'm going to pull up my dark yarn. I'm going to change it to my light yarn. So I'm dropping the dark yarn, and I'm going to hold it next to my, you can pull it over here, wherever works for you. And then you're going to yarn over and pull up your next stitch. This is, so now I'm going to use the light yarn. Now this is where I think a lot of people are also having trouble. So it's not so much when you're doing all the same color, but when you're changing. And this gets like dropped off to the side, and now you've got this loose stitch here, and then you tighten it and you make it really tight. And now the next time that you come around to the next row and you need to put your hook in here, it's really hard because you made it really tight. So don't pull that so tight. Let it be a little loose. So I've discovered, because at the beginning I was pulling really tight and fighting to get my yarn, to get my hook in the next time. So if you put your hook in and then you switch your yarn, it doesn't matter how loose it is while you're switching your yarn, just tighten it a little. So you don't have to go really tight. Oh, here we go. Sorry, you don't have to go really tight. Just tighten it a little so that it's not too loose, but not too tight. But give you, and because if you're using this kind of yarn, for sure, the tension will keep it. So now I'm going to go in between this V for my first stitch, and I'm going to do 2 light. So it's not a problem when you're doing the same color. The problem that I find mostly is that now I'm going to change color and go to the lighter yarn. Now I got this got all loose. Oh, can you see it? And then when I pull this, I was pulling it really tight. Don't pull it tight, and it's a lot easier. And you can tighten it, you know, as you go. So now it's really easy to get my hook in. And I'm telling you, I was probably on row 25 before I figured this out. That my biggest problem was myself with my own tension. So again, I'm all in my own way. Doesn't matter. I'm trying to, there we go. It doesn't matter that this is loose here. Just pull this yarn through and then just tighten it up as tight as you want it to go without it being too loose. And then you just like hold on to that and go to your next stitch where you can easily go in. And sure, my yarn was working. There we go. And I'm fighting the tripod here, so you have to excuse me. My yarn's getting stuck around the tripod. So I think it's 2 and 2 and 2. So now I find that my biggest problem isn't the yarn. It's not getting lost in the pattern. I'm just having trouble with the tripod here. There we go. So you see, just pull and loosen your tension, and I think that that'll solve a lot of the problems. If knowing where to put the next stitch in that side, we're not crocheting from the top, we're crocheting from the side. And then when you switch your yarn, don't over tighten. You know, so now I'm going to tighten this dark color, and I'm just going to pull it like that, not too much. And then it's easy to get your hook in. This yarn, I keep splitting this yarn all the time. It's terrible. There we go. I split it again. Oh, because it was the inside one that I split first. See there? There we go. So I don't have really too much of a tension problem when I'm doing the same color. When I switch the colors is when I was finding that I think the tension was getting too much for me. So then, you know, now when you do it looser, the hook goes right in and I'm not fighting it, and I'm not wearing my arm out. But keeping myself not lost in the pattern, I am having trouble with that. It's like every 2 stitches you have to look at the pattern again. Oh, what was I doing? What was I doing? And so that is taking me a while. And I know I didn't follow the pattern here. I'm going to have to rip it out. But like I found when I was working on the back, oh wow, this is going so much faster now that I am not holding the yarn so tight and pulling it so tight. Maybe I'm fighting myself over here with this thing. That'd be better like that, yeah. So I found that when I'm not pulling it like really tight here with the, you know, color I'm getting rid of, it's just a lot easier. And so I thought this might help you guys. So make sure that you go into the side of the stitch, not you know, like you're going to go here on this next stitch, not here. I hope you can see the difference. So not here, but in here. So you want to make sure that you get each, like these are like little legs, and you want to make sure you get in between the 2 legs. And then don't pull your color change yarn too tightly, and I think you'll have a much easier way to go with it. And then the rest is just, you know, following the chart. So please, I would love to see your progress and your finished projects. I haven't seen anything posted yet. I haven't posted mine yet. Obviously, it's not done. But I did want to give you a quick, this is what's worked for me. I hope it works for you. I did not put a bead when I started, and my yarn keeps twisting around itself, and I'm like, oh, why didn't I put a bead? I forgot. I always put a bead when I hold 2 strands together. It keeps it from twisting. So if you haven't started yet, do that. Just put like a little plastic bead on the 2 strands, and it like weights it a little bit, and it keeps it from twisting. Now I'm finding I have to untwist my yarn all the time. And maybe it won't work because you're switching out back and forth. I don't know, but maybe it will. And one other thing, and I don't know, like I know what the stitch is now because I've done enough of this, but I can't remember. I was following a tutorial, and when I work in the round, I always was getting my stitch counts off, and I could never figure it out. And then I worked a tutorial, and I think it was an amigurumi, and Huff was the creator's last name. And she said, put your stitch marker in the last stitch of the round. And I found that to be such a great tip. I always have the right stitch count now. You know, I mean, unless I do something stupid, but I always had a hard time knowing where the first stitch was or something. I don't know. But putting it in the last stitch made it all work for me. And my stitch counts are rarely ever off because I didn't end in the right spot or start in the right spot. But when I put it in the first stitch, I was always off. So if you're having trouble with that part of it, try putting your, you know, round end marker in the last stitch instead of the first stitch. So I hope this tutorial helps you. I mean, it's not really a tutorial, it's just a informational thing. But I'm getting the feeling that some people are getting very frustrated, and this is my first time to do Mosaic. I think it'll be easier with a softer yarn to do this detailed of a Mosaic. But you know, you're gonna put hot stuff on this, so you needed the sturdy cotton. All right, that's all I have for you today. Thanks for watching. If you have any further questions, please leave them in the comments. I'll do my best to answer. And I would love to see the progress of what you're making, so if you want to put it in the Facebook group page, that would be awesome as well. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.